Y'all ever just hear so many people praise a game but don't want to try it because you don't think you'll like it? That's what I thought about Shadow of the Colossus until I played the remake earlier this year, and it easily became one of my favorite games of all time. On the surface, the game doesn't look like much. It just seems like a boss rush with very little storytelling and an empty open world. But it's much more than that. That's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. How did I go from not being interested in the game at all to it becoming one of my favorite games of all time? I'll try my best to answer this question in this video. Welcome to Shadow of the Colossus. Let's start off by talking about how we actually got here and give a bit of backstory on Shadow of the Colossus. It was originally released on the PS2 in 2005. It was a critical success, getting near perfect scores and sold decently. Shadow of the Colossus was groundbreaking at the time and still is to this day. Imagine being a kid playing it and seeing these huge colossi. You would be mind blown. I still am today. It also proved the world that video games can be just as cinematic as movies. The game's story is also very well done. There is minimal voice acting that explains the story. Most of it is up to the player to figure out, and it's quite the emotional journey filled with heartbreak. But all this came at the price of terrible frame rate throughout the game, lots of technical issues, and very bad controls. It would later be ported to the PlayStation 3 in 2011. It would fix some of the game's issues and make the game run at a steady 30 frames per second, also giving an upscale in graphics, but still keeping the same bad control scheme. But all in all, it was a very good remaster. Cut to E3 of 2017, where Sony revealed that Bluepoint would be working on the remake for Shadow of the Colossus, and people went crazy for it. It would later be released in February of 2018, and once again it would be a critical success. And they also modernized the controls to make it more comfortable to play. But fret not, if you like the old controls, you can change it in the menu. It would also revolutionize what it means for a game to be remade. Anyway, that's enough backstory. On to the actual review now. The game starts off with the main character Wander and his horse Agro wandering into the Forbidden Land. That was such a bad joke. Wander comes to this place and hopes to save a girl whose name is Mono, which we can only assume is his girlfriend, someone that he had strong feelings for, or maybe just a good friend. A mysterious voice that calls himself Dorman tells Wander that if he wants to save her, he has to find and kill all 16 Colossi that roam the land. Wander obliviously accepts the quest without thinking what consequences would await for him later in the game. And so your journey begins. Dorman gives you a vague description of where to find the Colossus and just throws you into this big, open, empty world. I personally love how empty the world is because it really gives you a sense of loneliness and that you and the Colossi are the only things roaming around. And the only sense of direction you get is your sword, which shoots a beam that shows you the direction to go, but not the elevation it's at, which means you have to still explore the areas thoroughly to make sure you are on the right track. So you've gone past the tutorial and defeated your first Colossus. Well done, you're one step closer to saving Mono. The more you get through the game and the more Colossi you see and defeat, you'll come to notice that most Colossi have unique designs, whether they be humanoid, four-legged beasts, a giant flying snake thing, a bird, or even a lizard that can climb up walls, just to name a few. And they are also all different sizes and have different ways of getting to their weak points, so the player always has to get a good look of the Colossus in the surrounding area to see how and what they can use to climb up them. The combat in Shadow of the Colossus is simple but extremely effective. You have two weapons, a bow and your sword. The bow is used for getting the Colossi's attention, and the sword is obviously used for stabbing the Colossus. Every stab feels satisfying as you pierce the Colossi, and you can really feel the determination that Wander has behind every stab. A cool detail is the black blood that shoots out of the Colossus after stabbing them, making it look like you're actually damaging them. I just realized how psychotic this is sounding, so we're gonna move on. Where do I even start with the music in Shadow of the Colossus? There's not a single bad song in this game, it's fascinating. Every song has its own job to do in every part of the game, whether it be the battle theme or adding emotion to a cutscene. They are all orchestrated perfectly. I would like to talk more about the music, but I'd be getting into story spoilers, so I'll just leave it there for now. And it doesn't just stop at the music, even the sound effects are perfect for the atmosphere. When you're exploring the overworld, there's basically no music, just the sounds of Agro's hooves hitting the ground and the sounds of the other animals around you. It's beautiful, especially in the forest. It's very quiet and eerie, and I love every bit of it. Alright, I'm getting carried away now, so that's enough of that. Next topic. There are lots of things to collect in Shadow of the Colossus, whether it be the lizards, fruits, or when you beat the game you can collect relics. The lizards with the glowing white tails give you more grip, which allows you to hold onto the Colossus longer. All you have to do is shoot them with your bow, grab the tail, and boom, increased grip. There's also one lizard at every save point in the game, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled for them. The fruits increase your max HP. They are hidden in a few trees around the map, so if you see a big tree, run to it, and if there's some fruit in it, shoot them down with your bow, and boom, increased HP. Now on to the relics. You can only collect them once you've beaten the game and started New Game Plus. They don't give you a boost in any stat, they are just pure collectibles. But if you do end up collecting all of them, there are 79 of them by the way, and one of them is complete bullshit. You have to climb to the top of the secret garden, and then you have to run along the huge ass bridge, which almost takes 10 fucking minutes. But if you do end up collecting them all, you get Dormant Sword, which isn't worth getting unless you're a completionist, since it does the same amount of damage as the Queen Sword that you get from the time trials. But more on that soon. Alright, the penultimate topic I want to talk about is the replayability in Shadow of the Colossus. There's not a whole lot you can do until starting New Game Plus. The only thing you can do is Reminiscence mode, which allows you to replay a Colossus and fight them again. This is activated by going up to a grave of one of them and pressing R2 on top of it, and it has like a film grainy static look. I don't know what to call it, but it looks cool though. Once you beat the game and start New Game Plus, you unlock Time Attack mode, which you start by going to one of the statues of the Colossus, and you fight the specific one you pray at. But, as the mode suggests, you only have a certain amount of time to fight them, and the more you defeat, the more rewards you get, but you only get a reward for every 2 Colossus you defeat. You also get different rewards depending on the difficulty you play on. I'm now going to put up a list of all the items you can get, how many Colossi are needed for it, and what difficulty you can earn them. If you would like not to be spoiled of the items, then skip to this time. I want to end this video off by talking about things that I don't like about the game and what I feel can be improved upon. First thing is the navigation system. It's a cool concept having to use your sword to produce a light beam to find your way to the Colossus. I touched on this before, but I feel like it would be confusing for new players and maybe be a turnoff for them. I don't know for certain though, so don't take my word for it. One of the main mechanics in the game is climbing, and I had one issue with it throughout my playthrough. I don't know if it's a common one, but I found that Wander would very often not grab onto a ledge most of the time. I would be scaling a Colossus and try to get up to a rest point, but he wouldn't climb up, so I'd have to let go and grab it again. Not a big problem per se, but it was just a bit annoying. Speaking of Wander not doing stuff, I swear to God, if you slightly breathe on Wander, he would fly, because this dude flails around like a wacky wavy inflatable arm flailing 2-man if the Colossus moves an inch. It's pretty annoying. Anyway, that's enough of that. I was debating whether or not I should say this in the video or not, but I will and explain why I didn't want to. There's something I wish they touched on in the story, and that's Emon and Mono's character. We don't know anything about them. They obviously have a connection to Wander, since he went out of his way to bring Mono here to resurrect her, and based on Emon's dialogue with Wander, he clearly seems to have a connection to him, so why not explain it? I also understand the whole it's up to the player to figure out the concept, and that's why I didn't want to bring it up. But to leave such important characters up to the player's interpretation just seems weird. Maybe it's just because I haven't played Team Eco's other games, The Last Guardian and Eco, since they're apparently connected to the same world and possibly the same story. But it just feels weird not knowing anything about two important characters in the game. Hey everyone, thank you all so much for watching my video. It means a lot to me. This was my first time trying out a review style video. I think it came out well. It was also my first time editing, properly. And I think it came out pretty well, if I do say so myself. But I'm tooting my own horn because I made it. It's obviously not the best in the world, but I at least hope it was enjoyable. Let me know in the comments if it was. Also, give me some feedback in the comments on what I can improve on. My voice is very shaky because I almost lost my voice doing the voiceover work for this stuff. So, yeah. My throat hurts a lot. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Thank you all for watching. I have been Link the Gamer, and I'll see you all in the next review, whenever the hell that is.